family. You'll see what's happened between our two countries as we continue our report. Vietnam, losing the war, winning the peace. Kenny Lee once had to gather up his family and escape Vietnam. Now he has no problem bringing his family back. These days, Kenny and his wife Sandy call the Southland their home. And like many Vietnamese, they're returning to their former homeland for a visit. But what's different for the Lees is how much they have on the line here these days. They are far more than tourists. You see, it all dates back 20 years. Kenny Lee was part of the South Vietnamese Army, our ally during the Vietnam War. When the war was lost, Kenny saw his only chance at a future through escape to the United States. More than 1 million others did the same thing. The Lee family arrived in California with $60.
We both work very, very hard. 18 to 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, we are very conservative, try to have some capital to start our business. And dream come true.
The dream has come true. Kenny and Sandy took that $60 and eventually built an LA clothing business that buzzes 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. If you wear stone-washed blue jeans, it's very possible you're wearing a product prepared at this plant. In the beginning, the Lees didn't really have a home. They moved every few months while Kenny first taught himself the trucking business and Sandy worked a sewing job.
I know, but you know...
Now the family home is a beautiful San Gabriel Valley estate where the children are never far. Daughter Lynn, the eldest, works with their parents in the family business.
It's always on my mind how brilliant they are. It's, my father's always been able to see things ahead of time, see business opportunities ahead of time.
For their first 15 years here, the Lees stayed away from Vietnam. Those who had escaped were not welcome back. But when Vietnam began reopening in 1990, the Lees started returning to their old country for regular visits. Then, a couple of years ago, Kenny and Sandy Lee decided to do more than just visit their old home. They decided to invest here. They were one of the first. Vietnam is doing what it can to bring in outside money and business. $1 billion has been pledged during the last year. The Lees' contribution is a small but very visible part of that, based on a very simple premise.
My country is a tropical country, so it's hot all year long, and a big opportunity for ice cream.
But it was all still a gamble. This is the first American fast food franchise in Vietnam. And just look at the menu board. All those zeros mean a scoop of ice cream can cost a good part of a day's wage for an average worker here. Despite the costs and the 2 years it took to set up, the crowds have kept coming. And now there are plans to open 2 more stores before the end of the year. Watching over the operation full-time is the Lees' Vietnam-born, American-raised son, Steve, who's getting his first real taste of life in Vietnam.
At first, it's kind of like going back in time, but I've adjusted pretty well, and it's been nice.
And Steve's parents, after leaving almost 20 years ago, now they seem to live somewhere in between. So where is home?
Both.
But, especially when we come back to United States, we feel like better, you feel like very, very comfortable.
In fact, they're so comfortable in this country, it's made it possible for them to go back and help people in a country they thought at one time they would forever have to leave behind. Going into business in Vietnam is no quick and easy proposition. From the time the Lees thought of the idea of bringing Baskin-Robbins to Vietnam to the time their first store opened, which occurred in January of this year, a full 2 years had passed, and that would be considered fast by Vietnam standards.
Boy, you wonder if this is just the beginning for them in terms of the Baskin-Robbins deal.
They're already being contacted, as a matter of fact, by other companies who now see the Lees as sort of